AI.
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 Humankind has officially entered the age of AI. It's become an unavoidable certainty that machine learning technology will transform the way that we live our lives forever. As we collectively take our first steps into virtual realities unknown, what new opportunities and challenges are waiting for us? And what will be the consequences of bringing this technology into our lives? We must ask ourselves, what does it mean to be a human in the age of AI? LA-based Turkish media artist and director Refik Anadol, along with his team of computer scientists, AI experts, designers, and architects, are attempting to explore these questions via the medium of AI art. Substituting traditional means of artistic expression, these hypnotic masterpieces are created from millions of data points, systematically collected, analyzed, and manipulated using machine learning algorithms and custom software. The patterns and relationships extracted from these massive datasets are visualized by adding layers of digital texture and pigmentation, resulting in a fluid-like regenerative 3D visual. Refik and his team's incredible body of work consist of an ever-evolving collection of audiovisual performances and immersive installations, where floors, walls, ceilings, and even entire buildings are used as virtual canvases. The viewer becomes completely absorbed in the latent memories and hallucinations of an imagined machine consciousness, untethered from the laws of space and time. One of their most ambitious projects to date is an ongoing series inspired by the collective visual memories of space, nature, and urban environments, called Machine Hallucinations. The work of Refik Anadol Studio has been described as a symbiotic relationship between architecture, science, technology, and media arts, as well as a hopeful alternative to the conventional narrative of an apocalyptic future. Unfortunately for many artists around the world, their perceived relationship between AI and their art has been slightly more parasitic than symbiotic.
Nobody actually likes stuff made by AI except for an incredibly small niche group of virgins and losers, okay?
The only people who are into this are the other tech bros who are foaming at the mouth for like software speak. That's the only people who are into this.
Whether people like it or not, AI art has managed to reach a point of critical mass. Breakthroughs in the field of machine learning technology have given birth to several text-to-image AI models capable of generating imagery indistinguishable from art made by human professionals in a matter of seconds. Among these models include key players like OpenAI's DALL-E, Google's Imagen, and Midjourney. Naturally, there are a number of risks associated with the release of such powerful generative models to the public, which is why many of these companies have proceeded with caution by choosing not to open source their code, while also imposing certain limitations and safeguards on their models, designed to prevent violation of their content policies. Emad Mostaque, CEO of the AI startup Stability AI, obviously never got this memo. The former hedge fund analyst's latest offerings to the world of generative AI include the funding and development of open source music and image generation systems, Dance Diffusion, and Stable Diffusion. Open source in the sense that anyone can build on the company's code, or even use it to power their own commercial products. Since the open source release of Stable Diffusion on August 22, 2022, Stability AI has found itself at the center of a variety of controversies and criticisms. For starters, the model was initially subject to misuse by bad actors, training it to generate images depicting graphic violence, non-consensual deepfakes of celebrities, influencers, and public figures, as well as images that mimic the style of professional artists. While some may argue that this was an unavoidable or even predictable side effect of an open source model, these instances nevertheless opened up Stability AI to further interrogation. People began to dive deeper into the contents and origins of their massive dataset. And if you thought the datasets Refik and his team collect are huge, think again. Stable Diffusion was trained on Lion 5B, an open source dataset containing 5.85 billion clip-filtered image text pairs. Recently, the online art community has been up in arms, drawing attention to Stability AI's exploitation of legal loopholes through the funding of non-profit research organizations like the Lion Group and the Common Crawl Foundation, used to carry out their data collection. The non-profit status of these organizations has effectively allowed Stability AI to bypass copyright laws in what amounts to data laundering. Stability AI has leveraged these massive datasets as a means to generate massive profits via commercial ventures like Dream Studio, without informed consent, accreditation, or compensation provided to the visual artists who produce much of the original artwork these models were trained on in the first place. Several artists, including Sarah Anderson of the webcomic Sarah Scribbles, illustrator Kelly McKernan, and concept artist Carla Ortiz, have filed class action lawsuits against Stability AI, along with Midjourney and DeviantArt. Stock image giant Getty Images has also recently joined the party. Despite some recent improvements being made to later versions of Stable Diffusion, many still criticize Emad's approach to generative AI as reckless, unethical, and profiteering. He argues that there should be a version of AI made by the people for the people, not just ad-driven corporate entities.
If you keep it as it is, whereby it's controlled by the few, they will ultimately use it as a system of control. And again, we're seeing this in China and other places with a social credit score that's about to be augmented with AI. Let's give people the infrastructure and the building blocks they need to be independent, happy, and maybe they don't choose independence. At least you got the choice.
Some believe that AI will soon become so advanced that it will make traditional artists obsolete. They predict that high-quality AI-generated artwork will begin to flood the market, driving down the cost of production to the point that they will no longer be able to compete. Others believe that AI will only improve the productivity of artists, and in some cases, make the production of traditional art made by humans even more valuable due to its rarity. Of course, this isn't the first time that artists have been forced to bend their knees to disruptive computer technology. One of the biggest disruptions in filmmaking history was brought about by the development of computer-generated imagery. While CGI provided filmmakers with new tools and techniques to create realistic and visually stunning special effects, it upended entire practical effects departments on film sets as well. One of the most significant examples of this can be seen in the Star Wars franchise. When the first Star Wars film was made in 1977, clever practical effects and custom-made cameras were the only options for creating the incredible imagery seen on screen. For years, they relied on a team of model makers, set designers, puppeteers, animatronics experts, and other practical effects artists to bring their iconic spaceships, creatures, and characters to life. Hand-painted backgrounds on plexiglass, known as matte paintings, played an important role in creating the illusion of fictional alien environments, which would be too expensive or impossible to create physically. When George Lucas returned to the franchise with the prequel trilogy in the late 1990s and early 2000s, he chose to use CGI extensively to make many of the special effects seen on screen.
There were a lot of people that had a very hard time making that transition. We had to very slowly move them to working with computers.
While some filmmakers continue to use practical effects in their films, the rise of CGI has fundamentally changed the way that special effects are created. This shift has had both positive and negative consequences. Filmmakers are now able to create more elaborate and realistic effects, often with greater control and flexibility, but at the cost of losing some of the tactile physical effects that help make films like the original Star Wars so iconic. It's undeniable that technology has once again forced artists to take the next step towards an uncertain future. And according to Emad, this future could be coming sooner than many of us expected.
So right now it's like a wave that's under the surface, it just hasn't come yet. Next year is when it cracks, and the year after is when it crashes. In a couple of years it starts going. In 5 years, creativity, imagination, engagement, entertainment is completely transformed. It's going to be the biggest shift change that we've ever seen.
Do you think artists should be afraid of AI?
Artists should not necessarily be afraid of AI, but they should be aware of its potential impact on their field. AI-generated artwork might indeed become more prevalent, but this does not mean that traditional artists will become obsolete. Art has always been about creativity, expression, and the human touch. While AI can create impressive artwork, it lacks the personal connection, emotions, and unique perspective that human artists bring to their work. Art is not solely about technical skill, but also about the artist's ability to convey a message, evoke emotions, and make an impact on the viewer. As AI continues to develop, it may open up new avenues for collaboration between artists and technology, leading to new forms of artistic expression. Artists can use AI as a tool to enhance their work and explore new creative possibilities, rather than seeing it as a threat to their livelihoods.
If anything can be learned from the history of visual art, it's that nothing lasts forever. In the age of AI, there are no guarantees. Thanks to companies like OpenAI and Stability AI, the floodgates have officially been opened. We may not be able to stop this wave, so here's hoping we can all learn how to surf. Let me know what you think the future of AI holds for artists and humanity in the comment section below. For more videos about artificial intelligence, science, and technology, subscribe to the channel, and while you're at it, watch another video here.